touching on the Douala ports. We're talking about the standoff between SGS and Transatlantic SA as far as the scanning process at the Douala port is concerned. The ports are Showdown. We're going to be asking key questions centered on the interest of Cameroon. As our focus today, we know that it has to do with our national security. It also has to do with income revenue generation for the country. And we, with my panelists tonight, are going to be looking at who should work in the interest of the nation as far as this scanning process is concerned. We are looking at this very important topic with my panelists who are Dr. Dimancho, who is a lecturer with some universities in Cameroon, a key member of Cameroon Civil Society. Good evening, Doctor.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. It's a pleasure to be here, and I wish to send a special regards really to Cameroonians, because we have been patient enough and we are God sent. We are so special that in the midst of all the confusion, the midst of all the heat and all of that, we still stand tall. We still stand in weight, because in other countries there are things that they don't take. But in Cameroon, we don't only take, but we support, we live on, we praise, we adore, and we praise God for it. So I greet them all, and I hope that we continue to live in peace, because sometimes peace, settlement, or living in peace has no price. And let no one start what wouldn't finish. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Okay, we also are discussing with Professor Mark Anthony Akumbom, who is a Pan-Africanist and also a leader of some organizations in Cameroon. We're glad to have you.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. Thank you for receiving me here. It has been a while. I want to say good evening to my fellow panelists and to Cameroonians watching. I also want to extend greetings to the people of Kejom Keku and Kejom Kechingu watching. It is indeed a pleasure. I want to believe that this topic of discussion is of prime importance. As a Pan-Africanist, I think my country first before anything comes. That is where we have to focus on. The focus is how these scanning companies are going to contribute towards the growth of our country, towards the protection or security of our people, and that is something that is primordial to the development of Cameroon. So we will be discussing on it, and it is going to be very educative.
Okay, we also are discussing with a journalist in the person of Prince Joel Mokage. Good evening, glad to have you.
It's a privilege to be here, Mr. Kum Leonard. Good evening to you, and good evening to my co-panelists. As usual, good evening to the peace-loving people. Good evening to the peace-loving people of Mr. J subdivision, the land of Macaroni. And special good evening to the Minister of Mines, Industries and Technological Development, whom is aware that Kum Leonard is doing a good job. We personally settle, and we are taking this opportunity to tell His Excellency that my Media Prime is one of those media houses that, no matter what, it is doing a wonderful job. The Mr. J people are watching the program, and special good evening to my father, the Fon Thomas Kimbuse, a member of the House of Chiefs.
We are also discussing with the Northwest coordinator for the PCRN party, Abaisa Tamfu Richard, who is also very active in so many political as well as civil society activities in Cameroon. We're glad to have you.
Good evening, Mr. Leo, and thank you for the honor. You know, anytime you call me to be on your platform, I don't hesitate, because I know you have very salient topics to discuss, and the topic that you are just raising is one that I think every Cameroonian wants to know exactly what is happening at the Port Authority, because for the past week, many has been said about the challenges or the problems that are opposing some two companies, and I think that using your platform to educate or edify Cameroonians on the topic, I thought it's a bit normal that I should be on your platform to be able to also give my own side of the story.
Okay, I'll start with you, Dr. Andy Mancho. We have been having this ping-pong game from the Ports Authority to the presidency, back to the Minister of Finance, and then on to the Prime Ministry, also listening to the Minister of Transport. But Cameroonians are very, very curious and are asking that should Cameroon not strategically prioritize a competent local company like Transatlantic SA in a sector as important, sensitive as the port security and scanning is concerned?
Yeah, Mr. Leo, of course, as someone who is so deep into issues of black consciousness, you know, one of the things that we condemned, of course, when it comes to neo-colonialism, is the fact that you find that it is a new dance in old dress, because usually we say that you have changed outwardly governance, but it is only in theory. And most Africans today are crying for the fact that we have come of age and that we are competent to run our affairs. And the question keeps on coming on. We have engineers, we have doctors, we have teachers, we have all professionals that we need. And it is but normal that we use our own. Sometimes I say this, that eggs begotten of native fowls are not to be eaten by native children. And I ask myself, question, why? Because we deserve it. We deserve it. Why do people give impression that some particular things are not to be done by us Cameroonians? And I look at what the Frenchman call gabegerie. I hope I pronounce it right. Where there is that issue of wastage, you know. We have had that so much in this country, and we have condemned it. But the paradox is that the very people who condemn it, because it doesn't favor them, when it is against their own interests, they go around and they come back and they are the one fighting. It is terrible. I want to just give a simple example that all Cameroonians are used, because we are used to football. I will tell you that all of us are crying that football should be run by Cameroonians. And now when you bring a Cameroonian to run football,
you don't pay.
I mean, you don't pay, but the very Cameroonians who want football to be run by Cameroonians start fighting them. And then I look back and I would just want to give a little example. When we have somebody like Hugo Bros and we terminated his contract, do you know how much money Hugo Bros took back to his home country? I want to give the amount of you 140 million. That's what we paid him as indemnity. That money went out of Cameroon. We had another person, Clarence Sedoff. We terminated his contract. He took back to his home country 205 million. We had another coach, Antonio Conceição. We terminated his contract. He took back in his country 1,052 million. These are statistics I'm giving Cameroonians to know. Now we have a place like the port, where we are supposed to favor our own, who have already shown their competence. It is working somewhere already, because most people are arguing this, they don't even know that Transatlantic is already working the Kribi port. It is very important that we know. It is not as if it is a company that have gone and taken from maybe some El Dorado and then brought to the port in Douala to work. It is a company that has been tested, proven, and is working. And it's a company that is run by a Cameroonian. Now, we ask our question. Is it revealing something to us that contracts are being awarded to foreigners in order that people should gain from there what French are giving through grey à grey? Is it that? Look at what happened at Olembe. Do you know about the company called Pichini? That was a foreign company that started the construction of the Olembe Stadium. And how much money was, dished out to that company that was terminated, and then they went home with the indemnities. It is very important for some of us, Cameroonians, when we say we are Afrocentric. When we say we are Afrocentric, it means that what? We have to think African. And that all of the gains that a Cameroonian company should have here is a gain that it will reply out back in the economy in Cameroon. Why do you want companies that will have gains and then there's this issue of capital flight, money is actually invested out of the country? So if you ask me that question about this brouhaha in the port, this ping pong game that is playing, I think that is the game of interest. And that we need to shout and shame those who pretend to be for Cameroonians, those who pretend to be Africanists in their way of life, but in effect, they are cultural mulattoes, they are hybrids. Of course, because they are neither Cameroonians, they are neither West, but they prefer to take the Western kind of color and behavior to prove to us that they are more elitist and they are a level of authority they can defend for, talk to us down. So it is important for Cameroonians to get this story and get it full, to say that what we are defending here, we are defending Cameroon. And we are defending competence. It is not just about defending Cameroon, it is about defending competence for somebody who is doing something, who is a Cameroonian and who is doing already something in Cameroon that we can be able to lay hands on. We cannot even get into the details of that individual who owns the Transatlantic company, because we have noticed that there are lots of other things that he's doing for Cameroonians. But the question I'm asking myself is, why is this issue actually happening now? And I'm asking myself, since the elections and the inauguration of the president of this country, my question to him now is not where is the president. My question is, was he elected now to reign or to rule? Because those are now two different things. Our president is reigning, he's not ruling. And we have to call it out and say, President, you were not elected to reign. You have to come out and to be able to settle this. Promises were given. And speech, he made a very powerful speech, which we discussed here on this platform. And we are expecting that that speech should be incarnated. It should be put into practice for all Cameroonians to understand. But if after the president is in hiding and now we are getting back all of these confusion that is happening, then we begin to ask ourselves if our president will reign and reign again for how long. Okay, the president is not in hiding. We've seen many documents come out of the presidency signed by him. Yes, but Professor Mark Anthony, what does it say about our economic policy? Decades after independence, Cameroon still prefers foreign firms over local firms.
Mr. Leo, it is actually a disheartening situation, considering the fact that we are 60-something years old as a child that was born. And practically still depending on our parents. This is an abomination. Because I don't think a child of 21 years old today should still depend on the parents. But we are 60-something years old. If you look at the situation that we are discussing here, using other analogies, let's take the Feka food situation, where foreigners had always been employed to coach the team of Cameroon. You go to other companies, you see they bring foreigners to come and run issues. For example, we talk of identification here in Cameroon. We have foreign companies running and doing the identification of Cameroon, meaning the data of Cameroonians is actually in the safekeeping of foreigners. It is an abomination for a nation that wants to make progress and for the security of the people. Now we are talking of the economics of this nation. Let's be sincere. This same body that scans goods that come into the country through the port, the autonomous port of Douala, being a foreign company, it is possible for them to work with a body that can bring arms into this country. They scan and say there's nothing inside, just normal stuff, and we will transport them and bring them in. That's security. It is dangerous. Okay, but let's come back now and look at a situation like economics. Dr. Dimancho just mentioned something here about these companies or individuals employed or bodies employed whom at the end of the day we pay them indemnities. We have a law that was signed in 2019 that permits the autonomous port of Douala to function as an independent public business. implying that it has the right to take decisions over the business. But unfortunately, that law, even though it can be applied, there is something that the government did in 2015. The government had the audacity during that period, because they were the ones controlling everything, to sign a contract with a body, an organization which is not home made, which is not a home company. It is a Swiss company, to scan stuff in the nation for up to, in fact, I think according to that decree, that contract, it is supposed to end in 2032. And since it is supposed to end in 2032, there is a problem there. But now, to follow the law, I think the Director General of the port, autonomous port, did what he did in trying to bring in another company based on his autonomy. The only error he made, which I want to clear so that Cameroonians know that there was an error somewhere, is the fact that he went ahead to do the signing without necessarily sending. I think there's a letter that he sent to this SAS, to SGS, I beg your pardon, to kind of sit down to discuss with Transatlantic, which is something that is good. I think that was the step that was supposed to be taken before the signing. But one of the most important things I would say here is, it is a visionary step that he took. He took a visionary step in what sense? In that he is looking forward towards the development of the country. He's looking forward towards the economic empowerment of the country, and picking a company which is homeborn, already working and executing in Kribi with results, is a forward movement, which I think, even though there is already a contract with SGS, there is need for the government to look for a way to bring this contract to termination. But we know that if they bring it to termination, it will cost us indemnities, and that's where we have a problem. They might end up crumbling Cameroon. So there is need for the two companies to work together. So at this moment, I think Transatlantic, which has proven itself as a Cameroonian company, should also be brought in as a means to transit from the Swiss company to a Cameroonian company that will better run things for the good of Cameroonians and for the sake of Cameroonians, because SGS is not working for the good of Cameroon. Let's be sincere.
We cannot say that. We cannot.
The reason why let me complete what I'm saying, Mr. Leo. When I say they are not working,
they have been working there, and
they have been working. But where are the benefits of this going to? And we have a problem there. You know, these are the contracts that are signed when somebody has received something, the other person has received something, then they say, okay, let's sign it and give it to you so that you can be making us feed fat. That is not what we want in Cameroon. We don't want people to be feeding fat at the extreme, the detriment of Cameroonians. So there is need for change, for something to happen. And I think that, as I said, Transatlantic is supposed to be a transition company that is supposed to work with SGS till their contract ends. Then they continue.
Okay. Yes, sir. You wanted to react to what you just said?
The first thing I want to say is that, Prof. Mark, at times when you're not close to big people, like hierarchy, you are not advising the people. You're proposing, and they may take it or they may not leave it. We think that, first of all, one of the things we are doing is
when you are not close to
we are not close to hierarchy.
Which hierarchy?
I do not close to power. Yeah, we're not close to power. Kum Leonard, I call Kum Leonard if he in the midnight he picks my phone. That's hierarchy. Which means, this is what I want to say, that Transatlantic is the ones that are doing the job. And I feel that if there is something that they are not doing well, we should propose. And hierarchy,
SGS are the ones doing the job.
hierarchy will take care of it. It's not.
So
It's not.
what has that got to do with the discussions we are having on this platform right
And
now?
I'm saying that when you say that, you are saying that it's as if you're imposing to someone. You will propose, it will be taken care of, and it will be solved.
The man go to dance as BDM dance, I beg. Leave people.
I've not finished speaking, sir.
No, you are finished.
I'm not finished.
God.
Okay, I'm just saying that what he has said is correct. But he should also understand that things are not done like that. Things are not done like that. Mr. Leo, things are not done like that. We understand, the first thing we understand is that in the land, in our country, we should prioritize Cameroon. In my village, the first thing I prioritize is the minister. Any other thing comes later. So I feel that we should prioritize anything Cameroon first. Any other thing comes later. And I understand, and I want to buy his idea what he said, that let us give Cameroon the priority. Those who are making Cameroon to have a priority are enemies of this land. Because Cameroon is our land. We don't have two countries. Mr. Liu, we don't have two countries. Cameroon is our only land. Any person who is against us is an enemy. That's why in my village, we have come up with a communique known as Waliwo. Waliwo, Mobefe. He will tell you what else. Now we do not play. We protect the minister no matter what. Even if he's wrong, he's our minister first. So we should protect Cameroon first. Anything Cameroon is important. Any other thing can come later. Mr. Leo, I should fight your fight before I come and tell you later that, Leo, what you did was wrong. Let us first of all protect Cameroon and make sure that Cameroon is the best. Because cannot even be when you send me the topic, I even looked at it and said, should we even be making a debate that a foreigner is coming to come and be talking about things?
That's not the debate. That's not the debate. We are looking at the interest of Cameroon and competence. Okay.
It's our interest.
It's our interest.
We should not even be thinking. It is Cameroon and no other person.
Okay.
This is my brother, Tafu. When even he wanted to become a councillor, Mr. Lome, I supported him first of all as a brother, because he's from Donga Matun. I supported him first before thinking whether he's from which party. It is brotherhood first. So we should not even know whether we don't even want to hear that foreigners talk.
No, we are not talking about. We are talking about our competence. But if we have, if Transatlantic SE has demonstrated operational capacity for this long, yes, should we not seriously consider handing them over the possibility of taking care of a structure like what we're talking about today?
Yes, Mr. Liu, you know that here we are talking of there are some legal aspects that we also should not also put aside. There is a contract that exists between SGS and the state of Cameroon. And that contract was signed in 2015, as Professor Mark Anthony said. And along the road, in 2018, the state put up a law that was setting up public companies or public enterprises. And the Port Authority happened to have reorganized its management in 2019 by a decree, giving it some kind of autonomy, financial autonomy, and even managerial autonomy. So, and in the process, they discovered that probably at the level of the scanning process, they need maybe to boost the sector or maybe ameliorate it, because all of us, we are seeing what the director of the Port Authority is doing in Douala. Nobody can be indifferent with all the advancement and the efforts he's doing to manage the Port Authority. But the problem here is that the way he had to maybe introduce this new company, which is Transatlantic, he didn't properly, maybe he overused his powers. Because as the director of port, yes, it is true that within the framework of his functions, he has the powers to organize the port, make it suit the interests of Cameroonians, and in so doing, you should not forget that he has supervisory authorities, which are maybe the Minister of Transport technically and the Minister of Finance. So if he had plans to maybe introduce another company, he should have maybe written to this authority and tell them, okay, look, I believe that the existing company, the existing contract between SGS and the port, or SGS and the government, needs to be revised. Or I think we have to add this or change this. And if he had proceeded that way, I'm not sure that we would have been finding ourselves in this cacophony. It's just because he had a good visionary. He had that good ambition that, okay, this is Transatlantic, who has been doing very good job in Kribi. I want to bring it to Douala. But now, the way he did it, maybe by terminating the contract of SGS and introducing Transatlantic, is what is creating all this cacophony. So, and that is why you see the Prime Minister had to come in to say, look, it is true you want to bring in Transatlantic, but don't forget that the government of Cameroon had signed a contract with SGS, and you terminating it that way might cause the state of Cameroon to lose a lot of money, because we are talking about international trade. And if SGS has, for example, to drag Cameroon to court, they don't bear with me that the indemnity that we'll pay will be enormous. So I believe that the best thing to do, if I were to give them an advice, that yes, the director of the Port Authority is not more comfortable, or believes that we have to nationalize the interests of Cameroon, because we are talking about the security system. The port scans goods that enter Cameroon and goods that leave Cameroon, and it also generates a lot of money. Maybe what the government signed with SGS, we are just taking peanuts. And he believes that with Transatlantic, we can make billions, and which is but normal. Nobody will accept to give a contract to somebody who is not producing, whereas there is somebody here that can maybe triple the amount of money. So the Port Authority is in his position, and he is guided by the law. The Port Authority today, the Douala Port today has that autonomy, financial autonomy, managerial autonomy. It even has a legal personality to sue. So the port is acting as an autonomous body, but it cannot just on one day maybe just breach the existing contracts that were already there without following due process. If not, we stand to pay a lot of money to SGS, and which to me it will not benefit. And now when you read the recent letters that are out, you see that after the mediation at the Prime Minister's office, he said, okay, go and sit with these people. You people see how maybe both companies could work together to make sure that SGS is exited through the proper way. So I saw the letter that the Port Authority sent to SGS inviting them for a meeting. But I was shocked again to see that, but the reaction of SGS is instead like trying to dodge away or trying to hide some kind of information that they were doing, because he called them that, okay, let's sit and talk on this. SGS came and said, no, we are only to talk about scanning. If you are not hiding anything, then go to the table with clean hands and sit and discuss. So SGS is behaving as if there are some people who are seated behind, manipulating SGS simply because they have their own personal interest. That's the impression I had when I read the letter. Because, tell me, we are all looking for an avenue for peace. Now, they want you to come and sit on the table and maybe let's revise the contract. You say no, it's only left to the government to, it's only the government that has the force or the powers to revise that contract. No, which is not correct. The Port Authority belongs to the government. The Port Authority is a government, it's a government entity and it's a government arm. So it is still, if the Port Authority is calling you for a revision of the contract, it is still the government. So the Port Authority is not different from the so-called government that the people are calling, which is the Minister of Finance. So I think there is something there that they are working not in the interest of Cameroonians, and it is deplorable because you know very well the consequences that this kind of cacophony can cause to the state. Not only it has paralyzed people's economy, you have big enterprises that depend on the imported goods, the money that we could generate maybe from the fluidity of scanning containers. That money is all stacked. So just to tell you that it's something that ought to have been resolved, and I think the authorities that be have done their best. And if today SGS is not comfortable to work or to open up to a revision of the contract, then I think let them just follow due process and see how they can terminate the contract.
Okay, thank you for, that's a lawyer talking, eh? So we should understand. Yes, no. Doctor, is this conflict really about efficiency and standards or about protecting foreign monopolies at the expense of Cameroonian entrepreneurship?
Yeah, but there is something deeper about this conflict, Mr. Leo, because for a company to be working and at one moment they want to mutate, to change the company, you should see that there is something not functioning well. Because you don't change what is working to put what is not working. Or you don't change a performing company to bring in another one. So actually there is something deeper that we need to look into. And that is actually answering to your question. I think that there was an issue of inefficiency somehow. The first thing that issue of efficiency that I actually try to map out and which I try to study there and see is that there were a lot of complaints about delayed equipment deployment by SGS. This complaint has been going for a long time. That for 7 years the SGS took the contract. Since 2015, they had only, for 7 years, they had only 4 scanners. And there were a lot of delays in everything. So there was inefficiency in this perspective. And when the ports look at this and see the influx of goods coming into the Douala port, they see that it is overwhelming on SGS. So they need to bring somebody who can be able to do the work at the faster pace in order to serve Cameroonians. The port of Douala does not only serve Cameroon. That's one thing people don't know. Yeah, it's a Semang zone. And people don't have to joke with it. So those who are on the ground, and I think that the Director General is habilitated with the knowledge, with the know-how, with the experience, with the clairvoyance and all of that to be able to see what is not working. Because the government expects revenue from him. And if he says that, okay, you expect revenue from me, and usually the government gives them target, you know that. And then he tells the government, for I to reach this target, this is what I want. Give me the free hand to be able to do it. Yes, it is true that he has the Minister of Finance. I listened to him speak on CRTV the other day, and he talked how it is supposed to be a contract between the company and government because the port is. But that was all wah. That was all wah. What we need is money. Is money coming from the port. And the second thing that we're talking about, SGS is noted for a lot of technical breakdowns. I've had friends who cleared goods from the port. And each time is complaint. Technical breakdown. How do you work in a condition like that?
Yeah, well, let's just.
No, you have asked me a question and I'm answering.
Yeah, we should not
listen. These are not secrets. These are not secrets. We are talking about things that don't work. And the things that can be ameliorated. Of course, the government has reinstilled. We are saying here, the government has reinstilled the SDF at the port, right? Yes. So we are not going against them. They have the government coverage. So we have to say what is not working. So that if they eventually take over again, they should be able to ameliorate. This is what we are saying. Maybe we have not spoken to them. We have never had a program on them. And therefore this program should be able to assist them. And two, that if Transatlantic company is coming, they should know where the loopholes are. And that this is what people are looking at. This is one of the things that we are looking at. And because we know that they had an incomplete coverage. And they concentrated more on damage or containers at risk, and 100% coverage was not there. It was not, the cargo flow was not there. So these are some of the things that we are looking at. But then, Mr. Leo, I want to look at this because you see what has happened since the 1st of January. A lot of things is happening in the port. We have had complaints of even double billing now. Because now, the mistake that we are causing now, you may have some people go out of business. Because we have had double billing since the 1st of January, and some people complain. And you see the delays in all of these ping pong, the delays and the cost that customers are incurring. Who is going to pay them back? So it is for the interest of whoever is concerned to solve this issue. This is what we are talking about here. And secondly, this brings to bear the broader government governance concern in Cameroon. It is a big problem, the governance concern in Cameroon, because an issue of this nature, and we hear orders coming from the presidency of the republic and all of those, it is already shows that there is a broader concern of governance in Cameroon, which we have to avoid. We have to preempt issues of this nature. It is very important. And therefore, it is about the interest and the concern and what Cameroonians want. Because at the end of it all of us are crying. And people say, it is very common to say that there's no money in the coffers in Cameroon. It's very common. But there's a lot of money coming from the port. Shouldn't we talk about it? Where is the money going to? And if there is this kind of argument, this kind of, things that impede development, revenues the state covers, we have to talk about it. And there is no way in which we will, lick our lips in talking about. And therefore, we want to be able to get what is working. If there is something not working, we get what is working and instill there and get going.
Okay. Yes, Prof, what are the long-term national security implications of entrusting sensitive port operations to foreign entities rather than Cameroonian-controlled companies?
Mr. Leo, I earlier cited a situation where it is possible that a foreign company being at that port, scanning goods, enters an agreement with a foreign body, maybe that's importing arms, and the arms pass, they pretend that they have scanned the whole stuff and then present a different balance sheet and the arms enter the country. There will be nothing to justify that what they said was not true. It is very dangerous when we work with impunity. You see, I was listening to the Minister of they call it Minister of what? Motaze?
Minister of Finance.
Finance. You know, the ministries have many. At times we confuse which one is which one. So I was listening to him and I listened to his responses concerning the issue of SGS. I felt like it is a normal way in which he uses, because I never heard him citing any law that permits the government to sign that contract. He was using a principle, and the way he was responding with a lot of impunity. You see, there was a time that I think one parliamentarian of SDF questioned him, the way he responded with impunity. If you remember that thing, he said, ask and it shall be given, knock and it shall be opened. That was very, you can imagine, it means they don't care.
They don't think they have to render account.
Yes, they don't have any accounts to give to anybody. Who is benefiting from the signature that the government signed concerning, don't forget, Port Autonome, the Douala, is a, how they call it in French, is legally is a person, how they call it, a legal personality.
It's a legal personality. It's a legal personality
which has rights. And so, who gave the government the legal rights to sign a contract for a legal personality? It is wrong. Primarily, it's wrong. And it is from this position that I'm sure that the Director General decided to say, no, let me fix things based on the law. The unfortunate thing which we have been raising here is he just acted without actually thinking of the consequences. Mr. Leo, this issue can cause us a serious security problem in this country if care is not taken. And if people think that is a joke, let us allow SGS to continue in that port and see how Cameroon is going to be. But I think,
but they have been there. Nothing has happened.
Things have been happening.
They have been there.
We have seen, by virtue of this act.
We should not. Yeah, we should not create.
I want to ask you a question.
We should not create,
let's ask a question. Let me ask you a question, which I will answer. When we present arguments and we keep away, let's, for example, they call you that, okay, come, let's sit for a meeting and discuss on something. and they say these are points which we have seen that are weak, that you have not been respecting, and you say no, we are not going to discuss on that, we should discuss on this, as the Prime Minister said. The Prime Minister is speaking from which position? He spoke from a general position. He's not speaking from the position of an expert like the Director General. The Director General is a person who is managing that court.
I'm sure the Prime Minister, the Prime Minister is somebody of the judicial background. He understands most.
I am not against that.
He has legal advice.
Mr. Leo, you are not getting exactly what I'm saying. I am not saying that the Prime Minister does not know what is happening in that port. But there are things that only the Director General is versed with in that port, that the Prime Minister is not. And that is why the Prime Minister will send SGS to go back and sit with the Director General. And when he calls, the Director General says, come let's sit down and discuss. And this is what we are going to discuss, this is what we are going to discuss, this is what we are going to discuss. Then the company turns and say, no, we are not going to discuss that. The only person who has to discuss that is the government.
How can the government discuss with the government?
I want to ask a simple question here. You and I, we have a business. I am having my business. Then you come tomorrow, you say that because you are my father, you are the ones to decide how things should run in my home. That's terrible. It's not correct. So, Mr. Liu, there are some little things that are there to make us feel like something is wrong. And I don't think that the Director General just acted out of madness. He's not mad. He saw something that was not going well, and he decided to say, no, this thing is not correct. We cannot permit it to continue like that. And then he acted. It is true that he acted without thinking of the consequences of his action. But like I said earlier, he acted out of vision, which it is important that we sit back and look into this issue. Let the government of Cameroon give the port authority their right to do what they are supposed to do. Let them look for a means to solve the problem with SGS, and then give the port authority their authority to work based on what they have.
I want us to look at this. I don't know. He will come in and then you talk on. If, let's say, Transatlantic SA fails, the Cameroon can directly hold it accountable, given that it is a Cameroonian company. But now, if can same level of control and accountability be realistically done with a foreign company?
It's difficult. I'm not saying impossible, because if it is within the country, it will be easier to hold them accountable. Mr. Liu, I think that the PM acted. The PM is speaking on behalf. You know, one of the problems we have in the nation called Cameroon is because there is cacophony of positions. Everybody just thinks that because they are minister, they take decisions. That's why at one time you see the Minad boss buying things and giving people to take clean of Cameroon. And Celestine Kecha Cortez at one time asking herself if she is the Minister of Housing and Urban Development. I just feel that once the situation will be taken care of, Mr. Liu, the Prime Minister is not speaking as a minister. If we think that it is John Gute who is speaking, no. He is coming to tell the different people that stop. He is speaking as the Prime Minister, head of government. He's coming in to stop all the cacophony. And that the other ministers should answer to him. And anything he's saying, he's speaking in capacity as Prime Minister of the government. And we just feel, Mr. Liu, that in the days ahead things will be fine. Because it is an issue of interest. It is interest that is creating the problem. But like you asked in your question, if it is given to Cameroonians, whether it is going to be better managed, Mr. Liu, the devil you know is better than the angel you don't know. Cameroonians should manage it. If we give it to a Cameroonian, it's better to us. We don't want those foreign things again. We don't even want to even hear it. Let us take it, even if it's our brother that still sits, it's better. That's what I've said here now. So I think that if Barrister is going as a parliamentarian in my village, I should be thinking,
you made your point. We are talking about monitoring and exercising control and holding accountable for failures. Is that how realistic is this for a foreign firm over what is done locally?
We do a comparative analysis. In majorities of the ports are being run by nationals. That is, you have, for example, the custom authorities of that country that are the ones handling their ports. So for us to even still allow foreign body to manage our port, I think is problematic, because I'm not sure that we can say we have 100% control on them. They are free to give us what they want, and we have no control. It is true, it is a contractual relationship. If they don't fulfill one obligation, we are able maybe to call them to order, sue them, but we cannot say 100% that we are able to control SGS. That's my position. So to me, I prefer that an organ like the Port Authority that touches our sovereignty should be managed by us Cameroonians. Those are the things that I'm for that. So now SGS, yes, it had been failing maybe in one point or in one aspect or in one action. It is but normal. Now the state of Cameroon should have called it to order. So if the state itself failed to do it all, it is the director of the Port Authority who is now coming in to see or to identify all the lapses that SGS was doing or was not doing. Then in that perspective, me to be fair play, because a contract that is signed in 2015, if it was meant for 10 years, was supposed to expire in 2025. But it appears that they had some delays in maybe putting up some structures, and even the scans that they were talking about are talking about just 4. So that extended that contract to 2032. So we will not continue to be indefinitely slaves when we have another company that is just beside us and is able to produce, and we are able to have the 100% guarantee that we can control as account and know that, okay, if there's any problem, we can handle it. So to me, I'll go by the mediation that has been put in place by the PM. He has been very tactful. He said, no, both parties see how you can work together. And the director of the port is in his legal capacity to call SGS, because it's a company. You cannot have a state company and a private company, and it is a private company that is dictating, that imposing on it. It's like you have a landlord and a tenant. Instead of you, the tenant, come and you say what you the tenant, you're the one imposing on the landlord. So it's a problem. So I think the port authorities are in their legal capacity to act, and it will be wiser for SGS to stop this cacophony, because their way of behaving, it shows that they are not serving the interests of Cameroon. Some people are behind them, manipulating them because they have their interests. Okay.
Yeah, but Doctor, is Cameroon missing a historic opportunity to build a national champion in port services by not fully backing Transatlantic SA?
Yeah, of course. It is a huge opportunity that we are out, and that is reducing us to babies again. We thought that after about how many years after independence, we are ripe of age, and that now we should be able to handle things. I mean, we are grown-ups as a country. I am surprised that we are still like going out to beg for other people to come and run our affairs. This would have been an opportunity. I even thought that mindful thinking Cameroonians would have been praying that this contract that was signed in 2015 should get to its desired end, so that at least we should try, nationalize our thing. And because at this point in time is the time is when we are trying to test what is happening. Cameroonian. This is it. And testing Cameroonian is also very important financially. Because when you look at, because we also need to look at the monetary terms and on the contract with SGS and with Transatlantic, you will now see that even Transatlantic in terms of money, we are gaining a lot. And I thought that this would have been really an opportunity where other countries are out there nationalizing their things and sending out expatriates and replacing with indigenes who are competent, because now we have Cameroonians abroad who are competent in a lot of things. And I'm surprised that we need road construction. We go to China. We need. It is funny. It is funny. I'm really crying because we preach we preach good and practice vice. What is all this in Cameroon? Just because there are some few individuals who think that they have to amass, and I'm asking myself. See, let us not play like Dr. Faustus and Dr. Faustus, who actually, after signing a pact with the devil and thinking that 100 years was too much, when he realized that it was 99 years, he looked at the watch and he cried out, "Time, stand here till tomorrow." Many of these people will cry like that because they think that you think when you are in that affluence, you think that time doesn't go. It is at one moment there you even realize that what they are amassing is not going to help them anyway. Meanwhile, we have to put legacies. That you have young Cameroonians who are jobless. People are begging. Remember, if you go to SGS, I'm sure that most of their even employees are even expatriates. You'll be surprised that they're expatriates. That is the thing, and they're not even paying their dues in Cameroon. This is what is happening. We have somebody, a company that is going to come, and the first thing that the company is supposed to think of is employing Cameroonians. Where the president of the republic in his speech talked about favoring the youth and women. So where is the coherence in the speech? And then we still have the head secretary of the state who under high instruction tells the prime minister to see, we need to practice what we preach. This is what I'm crying for. And I'm still asking the question, is our president ruling or reigning? So it is important that we even get into these things, because I think that it was not just done inadvertently and then the SGS was asked to go. There are some proceedings that even followed. Apart from even his contract being terminated, I don't think that it just happened in a twinkle of an eye. So something was actually done and some procedure was followed. And if that procedure was followed, what happened? There is an underlying cause. And that people have favor. I said here, and I actually asked a question. Do you think that I am a general manager and Prince Joel here asked me for a target? And I tell Prince Joel, for you to have this target, this is what I want. I need these people to work with. This is the working condition I need. And you tell me, no, I'm going to bring you somebody else to be able to impose the working condition on you. But you are expecting that target that you asked me. I think it makes no sense to me. If we really want to attain our target, we should be able to understand with those who are working on the field. It is very important. It is simple. So what I'm saying now is like, it's an issue of interest, and we have to shame it. Because a lot of people are having interest in what is happening in the seaport. We should be very, very careful that at the time that we are outside, we even talked about, you see, it was a few years ago, there were some expired goods, rice, that was brought into the port here. And it was almost going to get in circulation before an alarm was raised. It even got into circulation already. They went and destroyed it in some warehouses around here, Douala. How did it enter? Do you think that it is a real Cameroonian conscious of the fact that he's supposed to protect the life of his brothers and sisters who allow that to happen? You bring a foreigner, they are dealing on interest. That is what is happening. With the junk food that we are having here every day, a lot of illnesses that we're having for abroad, that we didn't even think of in the early years of our parents. Now we are having it. Now we have inculcated them. We are now we are nursing them and growing them and maturing them here in Cameroon. Why? They are coming from the port. They are scanned through the scanners of the port. We have to talk about this thing. It reaches a moment whereby we have to expose certain things, because if we do not shame them, one of the things, I'm a traditionalist, one of the best way to let a witch or a wizard stop what he's doing is to disgrace in public. When you bring him in public, you finish, that thing goes away. Yes, that's the best. Just shout in public. And this is what we have to do. We have to shame them. We are even talking about a country that is even, it's on sun in terms of security. Think about infiltration of arms from this port. And somebody who will do that will flee back to his country. Yes. And when you want to get him, they talk about diplomatic issues. You forget him, now it becomes a diplomatic issue. But the Cameroonian, you are going to get him like a squirrel. No. It is here. So those are some of the things, Mr. Leo, to answer to your question. I really think that this is an opportunity, and not only in the at the seaport, opportunity in all the companies in Cameroon. Enyo, we're happy that Enyo is coming back to Cameroon. Were people not happy? A lot of people talked about it. That Enyo now is going to get more, Cameroon is going to get more shares now. Enyo, everybody is happy. We need all of these things to come back to our hands, so that when we are complaining, we know that we are the cause of our problem, not that we are complaining because somebody else is dishing them out to us.
Now, wouldn't empowering Transatlantic SE, Prof. Mark Anthony, send a strong signal to young Cameroonian entrepreneurs that the state genuinely supports local innovation and investment?
Mr. Leo, that is the heart of the president's speech in during his inauguration. His intent is to make sure that we consume Cameroon. Apart from that, he wants to empower youths and women. So what happens if Transatlantic is empowered? That would directly be given a tick that, okay, the government has seen into it that young Cameroonians are beginning to get involved in entrepreneurship, and now they are empowering them. So, Mr. Leo, I think that externalizing the scanning in ports is an abomination even in itself. As for an African, we want to see progress, we want to develop, we want to at the same time make sure that we own the rights of what we are producing. But when you do not internalize the scanning, anything can happen within the country. And I think that bringing Transatlantic, which I believe is owned and run by a Cameroonian, it is going to be of serious advantage not only to the company but to every Cameroonian youth who is engaged in one way or the other in entrepreneurship. Why? The moment I realize that a government can employ a company my brother has created, I start thinking that, wow, if they can do this and empower them, then I should create mine. And this will send a very strong message, Mr. Leo, and that will be to the advantage of the government. Instead of allowing a foreign body to remain at the port, I think it is time. Countries like Ivory Coast have internalized the scanning at the port. And let me be sincere, the interest remains in the country, doesn't go out. The money that SGS carries out of this country does not impact this country. It does not impact this country towards progress. But if a company which is created and owned by a Cameroonian is particularly engrafted into the port, what happens? It will produce interest for the nation. It will empower the nation economically. It will also create other businesses, because this company will be employing Cameroonians at the port, which at the moment SGS, we cannot say that has 100% Cameroonian employees. But I think with Transatlantic, it will give us a guarantee that even if we are looking for expertise from outside, it will be neglected. In fact, it will be negligent. It will be a very negligent, small amount. And this, to me, Mr. Leo, is a step towards taking over our economy. You know, through the same Director General, Bolere left the port. How did it happen? When it was him who was managing all logistics in the port, Cameroon was not benefiting. You know, billions. But today, it is different. 1 year after they removed Bolore, you had the amount of money that the poor through logistics made. So I think that if we give this contract to a Cameroonian to be the one scanning these things, it will help Cameroon more than SGS is helping Cameroon now. That's what I think, Mr. Liu.
Okay, we're going to help us some more than what we're having. At what point does dependence on foreign services providers become an economic risk rather than an advantage for Cameroon?
For example, when it overstays.
Okay.
For me, I think that the majority of the members of this panel have been saying, Cameroon is more than 60 years. What can explain that 60 years after we are able to handle scanning? Scanning, that's the minimal thing that a port can do. We're not talking to buy maybe those equipments to carry containers. We're talking about scanning. Just putting a scan there that can scan. So if Cameroon is unable to do that 60 years after, then there should be a problem. And to me, I think when you even look at the decree that reorganizes the port, when you read exactly what are the functions of the port authority, there is nothing that you will see that the Director General is acting out of powers. He's under his legal rights. That we should not forget. Maybe it's the way he took it, that the manner he took it. But I think it's somebody we should applaud. When we saw how powerful he was able to remove the almighty Bolloré, who could believe, without us paying some kind of indemnities. So I think that we should encourage him. And especially when you see, when you go to the port, you see the structure, you see how it is to a standard. It is to a standard that you feel comfortable. So me, I believe that we should think more on empowering our own public enterprises than trying to give it to foreigners. I'm sure that I believe that the more we are able to do our things, the more better we'll be able to develop. We should stop being dependent on foreign bodies, whereas we can do it. Gone are those days that we only think that it's only a foreigner that can come and do something. Today, when you look at the football sector, when it's given to a Cameroonian, the performances are there. You look to other sectors. Of recent, it was a NEO that was nationalized. Yes, you will see that if they create a company and they give it to a state-owned company to manage it, you see that the productivity will triple. So that is what we want. So we should nationalize our things, especially something like the port, which is a gateway security. Sir, what are we talking here about?
Okay, what are we talking about? As it stands, we know that the directives from the Prime Ministry actually has to be respected. There was a meeting, we are told, at the port authority, between the port authorities management and SGS. But what should be the best way to solve this issue, so that Transatlantic is not completely taken out? Some persons say that Transatlantic, no, SGS is there to scan containers, but there are also other things that are coming, not necessarily in containers, that Transatlantic should be given the pride of place to handle that aspect.
Mr. Liu, like Maitre said, we are unanimous, all of us here, that we should prioritize Cameroon first. Anything that is not Cameroon should be taken later. We should prioritize our nation.
Yeah, but within legal framework.
Yes.
But Metro said that they are legally okay. He's speaking as a lawyer.
Yes, there's a decree,
Yes.
the decree of 2019. If you read that decree attentively, legal personality, financial autonomy, management autonomy.
Yes.
Some borrowing is what? We are saying that in Mr. Liu. What we are now into, we are no longer making speeches, we're in action. Action meaning that we should prioritize Cameroon, Mr. Liu. Mr. Liu, if someday there is an election of who to become the president of journalists in Cameroon, then yes, and I see Mr. Liu there, I just vote you without thinking.
No, you should consider my competence.
No, I'll think competence later.
See, that's why I think Cameroon.
No, we want to first of all prioritize Cameroon. Cameroon first, Mr. Liu. If the SAG, whether it's SAG is working, they should leave our ports. We'll think them later. As of now, let them first of all come out.
Let me just contribute something. The little problem there with just sending them off is
The economic
there is a
situation that
contract.
Consequences.
Yes,
The
there is a contract. There is an
consequences.
existing
Yeah.
contract.
Yeah.
But
And
my question is, can't we have a situation where, okay, SGS, because we have to respect the legal standings or the contract
Yeah.
existing between the port, no, the Cameroon government and SGS, can't they find a way of having the two work?
Mr. Alio, that's what I said from the very beginning, that I think as of now, to appease SGS, let them give them their place, their contract ends.
Yes.
But at the same time, Transatlantic should be there working in other things to take over from them when they are over. So I think that it is time for the government to think ahead, not just thinking on maybe the advantages that they will gain, maybe for those some individuals who are working there. We should think towards the future. Transatlantic is doing a good job in Kribi already. We expect them to take over from SGS when their contract ends. But before that contract ends, they should also engraft them. That's what I mean. That's what I use. Bring them in. Maybe let them work quote unquote. Then they are doing something else, which maybe will not affect the law.
Please, I want us to look at the letter that was sent to the guys of SGS by the director of the ports. And in that letter, he says that he wanted them to discuss on the conditions for occupying the port's public domain. He wanted to know to assess the impact of its activities on cargo transit times, that is the duration, yes, and the potential collaboration with Transatlantic SA. And from what we get is the fact that SGS says no. You have no competence. How do we understand this?
SGS should not dictate. That's the problem.
SGS should not dictate. You cannot be a tenant. You are going to a landlord, and you want to occupy the space of the landlord because that's the way SGS is behaving, and I have a problem. You are not dictating. It's a contract. It should be maybe win-win, but it's the state. The state can review the contract. It's not because I've signed a contract with you, and that you think that no, you are not the one to lead or direct how the contract is supposed to be executed. No, I think what the director of the letter the director of the port the letter that the director of the port authority sent to SGS, I think is explicit. And when you look at the law regulating his powers, is within his powers. Let's sit. Let's see how do you occupy the port authority? Maybe it was given to you for free, and he thinks that no, it should not be for free. You have to pay rent. Let's look at the time you take to scan goods. For example, you are taking too long. For example, it may be 2 or 3 days when somebody is here to give you in the next 2 or 3 hours.
Does it?
So it is but normal that
So
let's sit and let's review. And if there's a possibility of you working with another person, what is the problem? If you are not hiding something. So I think that if it was all done in transparency, accountability, I don't think that SGS should be having that posture. There's a problem. So to me, I believe that SGS should have a rethink. You are not coming to impose. No, it's our port, and it is an autonomous body.
Yes.
It's managed today by the port authority as a public enterprise. So SGS has to sit to the table, talk with the port authorities, and agree on how they have to continue the contract.
Yeah, we've been talking about the war of camps in Cameroon, and we've always asked the question in whose interest is this an apt example?
Yes, it is a perfect example, because I realize that in Cameroon, in most of the resources that we have, we are not economically protective. And it is dangerous, because when these wars start, they do not think about the masses or the economic operators or Cameroonians who are suffering. People are only thinking about themselves, their pockets, and how they can give others. Because tomorrow, they think that it is you or I that gave an order that SGS should stay or that Transatlantic should stay, and it happened that I am the bigger person. And this calls to question the issues of service in Cameroon. You know, I usually say that I like the French word fonctionnaire. That word fonctionnaire gives people the ego, you know, and makes them stand at the level of authority and think that fonctionnaire is a very, very big word where they think they are there to command. It is different from the English word civil servant, which actually gives the meaning of who you are in government. You are serving the nation. But because of this ambiguity in appellation and semantics, it becomes a very big problem. Now, and there is a common saying that when two elephants fight, the grass suffers. This is a perfect example of what is happening in Cameroon. That you realize that people are interested. Now, it has made us realize what country we are in. There are camps in Cameroon. It's not a secret. We have the camp of this, I don't want to call name, and the camp of the other one, And now people have even started projecting which camp will take the presidency tomorrow. And they will continue to reign and not to rule. So it is a problem that people do not come up. I mean, in companies where you have this tussle, we have one recently in Food, and then you begin to ask yourself, of whose interest is it for Cameroonians that are fighting? This one say, okay, the minister, and now they give name. Mustache has said that this. Pastor has said that this. And all of these, and you ask yourself, if you are working to serve Cameroonians, then there should be flexibility. There should be. And then you should look at what is right from what is wrong. Not that you want to impose your power. It has happened in many other areas. And that you even see that these people who even are preaching, they come up to talk, to preach. And I really think that sometimes in Cameroon we always want to change what is working for what is not working. When you have a perfect Cameroonian, an economics or a tax officer or whatsoever, he is only good for the IMF or for the Bretton Woods Institute. He's not good for Cameroon. Look at, recently we were talking, there was taxation. There was one very good manager, Mr. Fopa, you know about him. And everybody was praising that man. Before long, he was sent to the IMF. You have good Cameroonians who work well, they think that they are not good for Cameroon. You can only work well in Cameroon if you are on the system and you are there, yes. If you can be able to be flexible and give, yes, that is when you work well. But if you are perfectly clean and serviceable to Cameroon, you are not good for Cameroon. And this is what happened. Those who are good in Cameroon are those who go in a metaphysical way and they fight in the night. This is what is happening. Let us say these things. They say yes, because they are not serving Cameroonians. I didn't hear about the cattle that was roasted on the way to. So these are some of the things that we have to talk about, because we talk about mediocrity in Cameroon. Because those, let me tell you, the higher you go, the colder it becomes. So when you grow higher in governance, in education, you're supposed to become more humble. But on the contrary, in Cameroon, when you grow higher in education, of the university setting, those who call the professors, when they grow higher, they become much more wind and all of those. That is what is coming in Cameroon, because there is no service. And you find that you come up to lord it over other people. Joel is giving a small post here. I'm a middle plan. The first thing Joel, he was going to call me to exercise his power. This is what happens in Cameroon, and these are some of the things that we have to talk about. I think that there is an organ. Yes, there is what we call in Cameroon. There is a department they call the Department of Good Governance and Democracy. And I ask myself, what is this department doing? Because it calls a question. We are good at opening the department, creating multiculturalism and all of those things, lingual culturalism and all of those are things. But we're asking ourselves, what is the rendezvous? What do we show proof of? Or is it just about people to come in and then fight? And then what happens? The next day what we hear is Cameroonians crying. Cameroonians are crying. People are fighting to sign contract. And I must say this true. There is this issue of, the external relation, where we have minister in charge of the Commonwealth, minister in charge of the European Union, minister in charge of the Islamic world. Let me tell you, all those things are just to negotiate. Most of them, and that's how those people come in. They come in through them. What we call the diaspora in Cameroon is not there. So most of these people, they come in through all of those minister, delegate, and all of those things. That's how they come in. And then you ask yourself, are these people really concerned about what Cameroonians are going through?
Okay. You had to add to what he was saying?
To add something.
Okay.
Doc, you said something is very important. The issue is, many a time, some persons give you the impression that some people are impermeable, which is a lie. I'm saying so from experience. At times you go to see a minister, someone who wants to block you. Is the person, not the minister.
That's right.
Blocks you.
How is that related to what he was saying?
He's saying that there is a blockage. You said so.
Not really that.
No, we're talking about the topic.
Yeah. I'm picking from them, Mr. Leo. Mr. Leo, there are people who come here to see you, they pass through protocol. But normally, when I come, I just come and go find Mr. Kum Leonard. I'm saying that.
Please.
Well, Mr. Leo. I know what. No, he said so. Yes, he said so. I'm saying so because some of us were blocked before, but
now you are having access.
we are no longer having access. We are no longer making speeches. We are now part of the house. We are now part of the house. So when he says Mr. Leo, it is very true that
Prince, my question to him had to do with the existence of camps. You're talking
that's what I'm saying, that Mr. Leo.
Yes.
There are a lot of camps. Even within my own area where I come from, there are camps. Where at times a camp blocks, another camp blocks, another camp blocks. If you are not strong, you will not penetrate.
Okay.
Dr. Wayne, I said, I'm alive.
Yes. Okay. Ultimately, whose interest should prevail at the Douala port? Foreign shareholders or Cameroonian state and its people?
No, Cameroonian state. That's not even a question we should think twice. Cameroonians' interest, the Cameroonian state's interest should prevail. So, Mr. Leo, you see, it's however regrettable that we are facing this cacophony today, and we are laughing. Yes, it is making us to laugh, but we should be crying because today we have a president who is the head of state. He took oath to protect us, and today we are having a security challenge. Because it's a security challenge. We should be crying, honestly speaking, because in this kind of fight where you have camps, this is where you now see the real leader. The leader comes in and divide the parties. Because today it appears that high instructions are coming, it's not being respected. The prime minister mediates, it's not being respected. And those who are fighting don't know where to go. So this is where you expect the leader now to come and say, okay, I am the one that has gotten the mandate of Cameroonians to direct the vision or the political ideology. And this is the position, because if you ask today, what is the position of the government? We'll be here, nobody knows. We are here dancing. Another person is saying that no, they want SGS to go. Another person will say no, SGS should stay and work with Transatlantic. So in this cacophony, what is exactly the position of Cameroon? And this is where you have to see in respectable countries where you still have governance, people are still that the citizens are still being governed. You see the leader come in, address the people. That this is exactly what.
Resign, barrister.
Good. Yes, good. But resigning here in Cameroon is a taboo.
It's a taboo.
So we cannot continue like this, because the way we are joking, it appears one day we will get up one day, somebody will decide to block the airport and say it's my own. Yes, it's my property. Yeah. That's where we are going. So it's regrettable, but everything is not yet lost to me. But this issue of the port, can crumble the state, because not only is it serving Cameroon, other countries are dependent on that port. Other multinational industries are dependent on that port. So, for example, imagine if a pharmaceutical company is not able to import its goods and sell it, medications.
And they are paying to the port
Good.
all the time.
They are now forcing Cameroonians to be paying double tax. Whether they pay to SGS, they go and pay again to Transatlantic. At the end of the day, they are just lost. And the more they go to delays, that is how you keep on paying. So it will happen, it will come to a standstill where all of us will be forced maybe to go and wake up our leader and say, no, we voted you, you cannot stay quiet. It's time for you to speak.
To rule and not to reign.
Yes, you should rule, not to reign.
Yeah.
So this is where we expect him to say something. So to me, these people should be more patriotic and instead work towards the interests of Cameroonians. That is what should guide us.
In the interest of Cameroon, should national firms or companies not be given pride of place in case of a conflict?
Of course, they should. For the interest of Cameroon, you say. For the interest of Cameroon, you say, and it's very important to talk about that. That Prof. Mark is appointed a director somewhere, and I know Prof. Mark is from Kujumkuku, and I will keep on making reference to Prof. Mark as a brother from this particular part of Cameroon, and what he does, even if Prof. Mark embezzles and builds some mansions in Kujumkuku,
It is easy to get it back.
it is easy to get those things back. It is easy to get the things back. Imagine somebody, a director here, who is miles away in Europe. I mean, money is just, just like it's just making like a seesaw.
Yeah.
And who dares get there to? I mean, this is something. And even when money is kept there, we know about Sani Abacha, who left money and to get the money back. I mean, it is difficult, and we have so many ministers like that we don't even have their accounts over there. We don't have their buildings and their property over there. So it is better to have a brother like this one, even if he sponsors his gazelles here and whatsoever. I know that there are still Cameroonians that he's sponsoring. Am I lying? It is so. It is important. We have everything to benefit having our own, and especially at the time I started this program and on discourse and saying that I am so much Afrocentric. I'm a black consciousness ideologist. And I say that at the time when we think that these people should pack their toes and just collaborate with us and not govern us that they used to do, it is important that we say that Cameroonians should be able to govern. Cameroonians, we always talking about the port. Who is controlling, who is producing the ID cards for us?
Foreign companies.
My brothers, let's just talk about these things. At this age, 60 years after independence, you find they're swinging from one producer to the other. Yes, they're making like this. All of that is because they're looking for the marché, for the markets. It is a database that we are supposed to keep secret, sacrosanct, for Cameroonians only. And here we are playing ping pong with what is dear to us and what touches on our security. So it is we have every interest to say that we want the nationals to govern this country and that we want to hold them in account. I don't imagine myself going to hold the Director General of SGS in account of what he has done at the port. But if it is a Cameroonian, I have the free will and I have every other way in order to make him feel what I'm talking about. Yes, if he is above me, at least I may talk to one or two of his brothers or sisters and say, this is what your brother is saying. It is important for us to realize this. Why are we doing this to ourselves?
Okay, but can we also say this is daring for a Cameroonian to say, I want to also occupy this strategic position in Cameroon, an inspiration to other persons to believe that what any other person does in different country and in Cameroon, we can also do.
Miss Aliu, there is something I said, and she will tell you, and I said in the dialect that Waluwa more befe. And she will tell you that it means that your own is your own. First, any other thing that is not Cameroon is wrong. We saw.
After 60 years.
Amanda in here, dog. Bro. We don't want it again. We don't want those speeches. We're in action. People should not come and be convincing us that who don't we have? We have the professors, we have the doctors, we have the engineers, we have everything. Mr. Leo, anything that is not Cameroon and not me there, I'm not supporting Professor Fukaliso Gentry, the minister, because he is a minister of mines. I'm supporting because he's my brother first. If tomorrow is no longer minister of no support, I'll not even know the system. We should be able to support our own. Cameroon is our country. We will never have two countries, Mr. Liu. It will never happen. You, as an elder brother, even while you were in Boya, you fought a fight that even brought you here. Today you ask those who did not understand the fight, but people felt that, we'll do so, do so. Where have they gone to? Cameroon is it is not divisible. It's our nation. And I think, Mr. Liu, that not an issue of proving to prove to people whether Cameroon cannot or whether we cannot. Mr. Liu, what have we not done? We have all the capacities. Put us on trial. Mr. Kum Leonard, on a very simple example, you are the boss here. Are you not proving it? So we needed to bring a francophone to come and read to prove that you can walk. Or we should bring a Nigerian. We don't need it again.
Okay, we don't need
yes,
it.
We are in action. Let people walk.
Can the country genuinely talk about economic emergence while sidelining its own companies in favor of foreign interest? We're talking about economic emergence. We want to emerge.
Mr. Leo, we have on paper that we have economic emergence in 2035, but in 2026 we are unable to employ our own. Who is going then to develop us? Who is going to bring us to that place of economic emergence? So those are things that when you put them on the table, you get to start feeling like we are living in an illusion. Reality has averted us. You see, I want to say that when we are looking at the economic situation of the country, and then we are talking of economic emergence, I want us to look at something. There are three words that define the wealth of a nation. Three words. Let me use the three letters. GDP.
Yes.
Gross domestic product, or gross domestic productivity, because when you look at the word productivity, is coming from product. What does that actually mean? It means that the wealth of a nation is measured by the capacity of its people, not by foreign investment, not by foreign companies. It is measured by the capacity of its people, which implies that as long as Cameroonians do not have the capacity to carry forward with the nation, we will never emerge. If we do not have the capacity to economically institute our own companies, run them, make sure that we benefit from what we have created, we will never emerge. So, Mr. Leo, if we want to actually see emergence, then we must focus on the capacity of Cameroonians and not that of foreigners. We must focus on the employment and deployment of the capacities of Cameroonians. And I think that for the fact that Transatlantic is actually owned by a Cameroonian, and we have seen it work in the Yaoundé, the Kribi seaport, effective, working with results.
Even if he did not, he should be there.
Let us then, at this moment, reinstitute the policies which I think the government, within this mandate, projected to us the day that the president was being sworn in. He said privatization is Cameroon first.
Yes.
He made us to understand that youths were his focus. Apart from that, we were made to understand that he wants to encourage home companies. If he says he wants to, let me talk this man. If he says he wants to encourage home products, then I think Transatlantic SA is a home product. It's a home build company. Use it to do the job for the good of the nation, as well as for the empowerment of the nation. So if we want to actually progress, want to develop, want to emerge, emergence is not a matter of words. It's not a slogan. emergence is, when we talk of emergence, economic emergence, we are talking of work on the ground. And you cannot be discouraging those who are struggling to do it and then expecting the results to come tomorrow. So I think it is time for the government of Cameroon to go back, use the policy that was instituted in the presidential inaugural speech to build the country with, which is Cameroon first. We need to get to that place where our own companies are prioritized. Everything about the nation, we should prioritize it internally first. We are not saying that we will not need external help, but I think there is this Pareto principle in economics, the Pareto principle, which is talk of 80-20 principle, where the 20% has the capacity to bring 80% benefit. Are those 20% Cameroonians who can bring the fruit? I don't think the government of Cameroon is doing that job at the moment, because we are using a port situation in Douala, which is supposed to be an example to prove to us that 2035 is not going to be true, because foreign companies are working and they are sapping out the economy.
Okay. I just wanted to come in here, because there's something that bothers me, I still want to come back to the speech of the head of state, because it is an important thing to talk about, because it is just one moment that we listen to our head of state speak, and all attention, all hopes are geared towards the coming days. I don't know how long the coming days will be, but then I have an impression that that speech was not made for Cameroonians. Because in that speech, he talked about prioritizing women and youth, and that those that he is going to even appoint as those are going to be technocrats, those who know what they are, they have learned, and people of dignity, of know-how. This was spelled out in the speech. And to add, he talked about this will happen in the coming days. I have an impression that this has already happened in another country. Yes, it is very true, because because it's more than it's not only more than the coming days. Secondly, the first squabble that we have, where the youths and the women were even supposed to be prioritized, it is where we are arguing now at the port, which is not normal. Because after that kind of a power emblematic speech, we are not supposed to have this squabble, because we realized that it was a president talking, and talking with firmity. He was resolute about what he was talking about. And all of us, our hopes will get there to our president. And so I began to have an impression that that speech was for the gallery, and that he just needed to keep our pedestals up without shaking. And that it is still the same old wine skin, a new, wine skin. So was that already done at the same time? Because the first outing, which of course, because we understand that the president has solved this problem at the port, and that even if he has not solved, at least we have listened that it was high instruction. There was some high instruction somewhere. And the high instruction comes just at the very moment where we think that it was still the old practice of things that the president is asking that it continues. It's not even the high instruction which is giving hopes to Cameroonians, which is giving hopes to the youth, which is giving hope to the women. So how far are we sure that we are not going to wait for Godot the coming days? Wait for someone whom no one can see. You keep waiting. And it appears as if the wait is going to be longer. I'm afraid. And this calls to action with all of us who are committed. Civil society, politicians, barrister, you and Prof. Magip are politicians.
I'm not a politician.
Of course. Now you are now refusing. Are you Nicodemus, the friend of Jesus in secret? So that is it.
I use my powers at a particular time to support.
Are we saying that we are going to be on our own, and that each person for himself, and then God will take care of us all? So I think it is important, if the government really wants something to be done, why not? I mean, I was even going to propose something radical for the port, that should even make another appel and it include SGS, Transatlantic, and all the other companies. International port. That is it.
No,
so yeah.
What the Prime Minister has done, to me,
It's logical.
it's logical. As head of government, he called all the parties,
Yes.
come to my office, let's talk. After the meeting, he said, okay, Director of Port, go and discuss with SGS. Director General of SGS, discuss with the Director of Port, and you people should see how you can start the activities. And that is what the Director of Port did. He sent a polite, I read the letter. I also went and I read the reports from SGS, and I was shocked. I bet, are you here for peace or you are here for war? Why should you be behaving that no, you want to discuss with the government? Who is the government? The Port Authority too is the government, because it's a public state enterprise. You are using the premises of the port and you don't want to discuss with the port. Then you are out for something else.
There's an invisible hand.
Yes. That you and I cannot see.
There's something that the doctor said, that at the end of the president said that women and children, and that he's saying the coming days will appoint. No.
Women and youth.
Huh? Yes. The issue is the Minister of Finance, Luipo Mutaze, has already voted the budget. He was in Kaundere, as a journalist, you are aware. And each ministry already has a budget. And each ministry is already doing its employment. The Ministry of Mines is employing 380 people. It's already action. It's no longer... Those who are waiting for appointment should wait. They may wait for 10 years.
Meaning that the government...
The government has been maintained. The government has been maintained.
As a budget not be voted.
Funny enough, the Minister of Mine does not have a minister.
Please.
Let's be
No. There is a minister. Please. There's a minister.
I will not take that.
Please.
No, there's an interim.
Please.
Yes. Interim is minister.
No.
Please. That's not it.
Interim is a minister. Until
Please.
another one is appointed is a minister.
Prof, thank you for coming. Your last words, please.
It is indeed a pleasure. We are happy that we came today, and
We have been able to educate Cameroonians on issues that are of primary importance. I want to say that this issue at the port is not the only issue that is in Cameroon at this moment, which needs to be visited. We think that the government in place needs to look into issues for the sake of progress. If we truly want an emerging Cameroon, then we must be able to solve little problems. You see, this situation is almost taking the same route that I saw Fekafoot and Minister of Sport taking.
Even the Anglophone crisis, it's
The same route transformed into a mega issue. So I think there is need for the way things are handled to change in this country, as well as we should think of progress and emergence. We should not be thinking only of ourselves and our pockets. I just heard my brother Joel focusing on.
Okay, thank you for coming, Ashe.
Yeah, Mr. Liu, just to round out to say that every country now in Africa actually is bent on having, the nationals actually empower the youth, even at the level of Pan-African organization, the AU. Last week I was at in Ethiopia, the AU headquarters, to carry out research. One of the departments that they have there is the Department of Youth Employment and Development. And in their Agenda 2063, they hope that by then we should be boasting of having the African manpower, boosting the African data system. It is important that, and that is what the Pan-African Union is working about. And that when it comes to us in Cameroon, we would think that we have the emergence of 2035, and that the emergence will come with foreigners. Then it will not be an emergence. If emergence comes with foreigners, it means that, there is nothing we have done. So it is important, this discussion, this conversation that we have had this evening, I think it's a very, very important one, which I know somebody is listening, and even though we make humor out of it sometimes, We are just saying very, very serious things in light-hearted manner. It is important that the government listens and implements.
Thank you very much. Thank you too for coming,
Yes,
Barrister.
my last word would be that when the father in the house is seeing that the children are fighting, he should not sit behind and keep quiet.
Okay.
At least we know that camps are opposing themselves. The house is boiling. We want to see the president come out and say something. At least let us also feel that we do not entrust our mandate to somebody who cannot defend us.
Okay.
We're talking here about the sovereignty of Cameroon.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you too for coming, Prince Joel.
It's a privilege, Mr. Leo, that we are there. He has said something we must correct it.
No, hey, there's nothing to say.
No. Permit me, sir. When you are an interim minister of mines, you are the minister until another one is appointed.
Okay. You've made your point.
Yes. He is the minister for now.
Thank you.
Until another one comes.
Thank you.
So he should not say that the ministry does not have a minister, because the minister signs all documents for mining and all seminars on behalf. What is interim? He is the minister until another one is appointed.
Yes.
Thank you immensely for having me, Mr. Liu.
Okay.
Special greetings to Professor Fukwaleso Gentry, our father, who is doing wonderfully well in the Ministry of Mines. And I don't know whether I call him a minister or not, but know that he's a minister of mines. And most particularly to the peace-loving people of Misaje who are watching. I told you I have a fan club in Misaje, and someday with the cap I came with, you have not seen me with this cap for a while.
Okay.
It's a shame. When someday you come, we'll bless you. Thank you.
Okay. We want to thank you all for watching, especially to you, Eli, and your production team. We are very, very grateful. And to you, we say good night. Bye-bye.